Welcome back and let's talk exports. Last week in Let's Talk Exports, we focused on where the demand is for our key products as sugar, cement and roofing materials. The Export Promotion Board highlighted our neighbor Kenya, Tanzania, South Sudan, Rwanda and Democratic Republic of Congo as our market for the sugar, cement and the roofing materials. Tonight, Ken's Wile hosts Eli Kamgisha, the Executive Director of Uganda Exports Promotion Board, on what is required for you to export.
Last week we discussed the products that Uganda exports to East African region. My ED, my guest, highlighted that most of our exports go to our neighbors, Burundi, South Sudan, DR Congo, Kenya, and Tanzania. The products we discussed are cement, sugar, and roofing materials. So today, we dwell much into what am I required of to export. Eli Kamgisha is my guest, the ED, Executive Director, Uganda Export Promotions Board. To begin with, Mr. Kamgisha, how much quantity do I need to be recognized I can export?
Actually, that is a good question, and I think this is very, very important for our viewers, that there is no fixed amount for one to export.
Really?
Whether you want to export and you are ready, either you have produced the materials yourself from your factory, from your company, or you have bought them from the producers or the manufacturers, and you get the right documents that we are going to talk about. There is no quantity limit. No, whenever the amount you have or you have to export, you have found the market, is the amount that you sell across the border.
Does it mean that you don't put restrictions that unless we have satisfied our domestic market, then you cannot export? I am free to export?
Really, what you're talking about is history. Under the World Trade Organization, which came in to liberalize trade, to promote trade, and for Uganda's case, since the late 1980s, Uganda undertook a strategy of economic liberalization, opening up, trade liberalization. So, and we are members of the World Trade Organization. So, Uganda being a member of the World Trade Organization, but also inwardly, even leave alone that they are members, they undertook a strategy that we have to liberalize the economy. And once you liberalize, once you open up, you allow free trade. And free trade therefore means that you have no limits on entry and exit of products. And therefore, we don't, as Uganda, we cannot limit what an exporter, what a trader, what a business person wants to trade locally or across the borders. No, that is their right.
Then how much will I be recognized internationally that this person can export to us?
Basically, you see, as again, that's a good one. Trade, exchange of goods involves two parties. One is the buyer, another one is the seller. With regard to export trade, the buyer is normally across the border, and the seller is the exporter, and the buyer is the importer. What it means is, as a trader, you look for markets. As a trader, you look for buyers. As a trader, you look for customers. And actually, it is mainly the customers who dictate the quantities that you have to take to them. So basically, you find some exporters have different sizes
and requirements
and requirements or consignments that their buyers, who are the importers that side, require of them. One can buy, let's say, 1 ton, a buyer from one exporter, but they can also buy maybe 10 tons, but they can even buy as small as 10 kilograms. So it depends.
From our discussion, cement, roofing materials, and sugar, these are the 3 products that we have the potentially in the region we produce. Do they need different requirements when I want to export?
I'll come to talk about sugar later, and then let me begin with the others. All the other materials, call them non-food materials. Most non-food materials require very basic documents. You require a packing list. Goods leaving your factory, goods leaving your company should have a packing list. Just a packing list. I have 10 iron sheets. I have 10 angle bars. I have 5. So a packing list. But also, in addition to the packing list, you add on what we call an invoice, which is again issued by the company that it will be exporting. And the invoice also is more detailed. The packing list is more simplified, as it is packed, like I said, 10 items of this, or 4 items of this, that. And now you have an invoice, because an invoice is very, very important. We require it. Customs requires it. And again, if you are selling to anybody, you issue that person an invoice. So once we get your packing list, we get your invoice.
When you say we, what do you mean?
Yeah, I should have said, at Uganda Export Promotion Board, at Uganda Export Promotion Board, we advise that you have your packing list and the invoice. And then it is our role to issue a certificate of origin. Now, the certificate of origin contains information on what you're exporting. And why certificate of origin is important, it is to show that these goods originate from Uganda.
That document at a cost or free of service?
Our services are all free, but that document, since it is printed, we charge you very minimal.
For printing?
Yeah, it is 5,000 only for printing. And it is in color, and it is different layers, different colors. So I think...
For toner and electricity.
And then, yeah, because actually we buy it. The company has to print it for us. Exporting is not a very difficult procedure as we talk now. You just have a packing list from your company. You have an invoice from your company showing your goods. The next is the certificate of origin, which we issue for you. You reach the border, you reach customs. Customs requires that you have these documents.
What if I don't have a company? Maybe I'm upgrading from smuggling and I now want to export, really exports. I don't have a company.
Yes.
But I want to do exports. That list and the invoice and the I don't know. Now, what do I require?
I think that is a very, very good question. Let me again clarify this one. That you don't, you as an individual can export. You can buy and sell goods within Uganda, but you can also buy and sell goods across the borders. Though we would advise that in the long run, and I will come to the simplified certificate of origin too, though we would advise that in the long run, as you mature, you could have, you register a company. And you know, these days it is easy, you can even register a company as one individual. But also, you can have what we call a business name. You can register as a business name and you say Bwire or Wire business name. But also, even without that, you can buy your goods and sell them, exchange your goods locally, but also export them. Now, you bring me to another certificate, which we call simplified certificate of origin. Now, simplified certificate of origin, we use it to help now small people like you who are exporting small consignments, and at times you don't have a company. Instead, like I've said, instead of smuggling and undertaking informal trade, we advise that you reach the border. And most, it is at the borders, at customs, if in some places like Maraba, like Busia, like Mpondwe now, and some other borders, there is what we call TIDO, Trade Information Development Office or Officer.
Is it part of UPB?
It is part of Uganda Export Promotion. No, it is part of the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, and we are part of that ministry, and the TIDO office is part of that ministry, and they work with what we call cross-border trade associations.
So what will TIDO do?
Now, when you come to the border, before you cross to customs, where there are TIDOs, or these employees or staff or representatives of the Ministry of Trade, you will show that you have that consignment and you want to export. They will issue you a simplified certificate of origin, which has got only 8 spaces where you have to fill in. Simple name of the exporter, date, and then some signature. And there are 2 ways. The Cross-Border Trade Association, which sits with the TIDO, they are together, they will help you fill it for you. And if you have no company and you still want to export, they can help you. In some places, they use their Cross-Border Trade Association as the exporter. That will not stop you from crossing the border. The beauty with you filling the simplified certificate of origin, then you don't have to have problems of somebody says, yeah, let me help you, Panya Road. Take the goods through here, and as if you have come with 5 sacks of maize, maybe as somebody helps you to go Panya Road, the other sack has been, somebody has stolen it, or he who is helping you has stolen it, not stolen, picked it, or taken it away. So you have a simplified certificate of origin, which is easy to fill in. But even if you can't fill it in, somebody is there to help you fill it in. And if they are on the borders where there are no cross-border and TIDOs, where they are not, you can always ask for that document from customs.
Let's talk export. That's the discussion we're having, and Eli Kamugisha is the Executive Director, Uganda Export Promotion Board. We are looking at what do I need to start exporting? Do I need a lot of money? Do I need a lot of documents? That's what we are clarifying. And Eddie, all the documents you have talked about, at only a cost of 5,000 shillings, you said, or printing?
Actually, like we have said, you don't need many documents. You need a packing list, an invoice from your organization. So that one, it is from your organization. You need a certificate of origin from Uganda Export Promotion Board. And like I said, if you are small as you said, and you want to export as Wire, you reach the border, and then you ask for help from Cross-Border Trade Association and TIDO, as we said, where you don't have such offices, you go to customs. They will give you a simplified certificate of origin, which you fill in so that it enables you to cross the border. Now, like I said, these are not documents that are expensive and you have to buy. Last I checked, I think from customs you get the simplified certificate of origin for free. From the TIDOs and Cross-Border Trade Association, depending, it would be 2,500 or 5,000. But this document is very, very important because you want another way of your goods crossing the border, yes. And so the documents are not expensive. They are not increasing your cost of doing business. They are an enabler of making sure that it is smooth. You can go across the borders.
And you pay taxes.
And now, the beauty with exporting, exports are 0 rated. You don't pay taxes. Yeah, you don't pay taxes. Uganda, as a way of promoting exports from Uganda are 0 rated. You don't pay taxes. 0 rated meaning that you are crossing the border with your goods, and for the big traders, you can always, prove that you exported, isn't it?
Clarify on this. Zero rated for companies and factories, or zero rated even to somebody upgrading from the word I use, a smuggler?
No, zero rated for everybody actually. It is zero rated. Oil exports from Uganda, you go to customs, they give you what we call SAD document, single administration document. In other words, that document is also saying this guy has gone through customs, this guy was exporting a consignment of 100 units, this is the company. And once you go through customs, that's all. The customs will not ask you for money to export Ugandan products.
You singled out sugar and you said that one will be a special case talking about it. For now, we have been discussing manufactured non-food products, cement and roofing materials.
Yes.
What is so special about sugar?
Actually, sugar, like other products also, will require, like any other consignment, will require a packing list. You require an invoice for you to get a certificate of origin from Uganda Export Promotion Board. But I'm cautious. I want to know what level again is sugar. Depends on the level. You know, sugar is a food product. So you may require, and sugar could be what level. You know, sugar could still be there are processing levels. So depending on whether it will be regarded as still an agricultural product at a certain level. Let me mention this for agricultural products.
You put in sugar now.
And I have put in sugar, depends on the level that it is. Then, and other food items, countries will require that you have a health certificate.
As a manufacturer or just a small exporter?
Even if you are a small exporter, actually, if you reach Busia or Maraba at the border, the Ministry of Agriculture will help you fill in a health certificate. The health certificate is named, normally they call it phytosanitary certificate. Phytosanitary certificate means phytosanitary is health certificate. So don't mind, know it as health certificate.
Not phyto.
Yes, don't go into the science and of it. Know that you will, the agricultural inspectors will fill it in for you, will understand the goods, if they have to do with food, if they have to do with agricultural products, if they have the health component. Now, they fill it for you and you cross the border.
Eli Kamugisha will be with us again next Thursday Business Forum. Let's talk exports as we tell you what you need to export what you have. And he puts it right, no need, no money paid when you're exporting. I don't know if they want to make all the goods go to neighboring countries or if they want us really to get something for ourselves. That is it for today. I'm Kenneth Wire.
Let's Talk Exports winds up Business Forum tonight. Please do join us again next Thursday at 8:30 p.m. I am Nawasa Innocent. Good night.